Sovereignty unknown. Location: Earth, Washington, D.C., Geneva, Hawthorne, and Beijing. Time: August 2025. 1. Washington, D.C., the Office of Space Commerce. Kendall Moore, acting director of the U.S. Office of Space Commerce, stared at the draft resolution on her secure tablet. It was stamped Interagency Eyes Only. Draft: Extraterrestrial Civil Authority Framework, Mars Settlement Provisional Clause. The language was vague. Provisional citizen designations, interplanetary jurisdiction in limbo, emergency recall rights. We're 25 million miles away from legal precedent, she muttered. Across the table sat Brigadier General Stephen Huxley, recently transferred from U.S. Space Command. The longer we wait, the more likely they'll improvise their own government. You know that. They're Americans. For now. Moore pinched the bridge of her nose. They had 30 people on another planet. People with command structures, internal comms, tech stacks, and access to off-Earth infrastructure. And no clear law said what to do if one of them broke rank or declared independence. In the margins of her pad, she had written a question and circled it twice. What if they vote? 2nd Geneva, United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, UNOUSA. In a side chamber at the Palais des Nations, Simonetta Di Pippo, the director of UNOUSA, held a private video call with representatives from ESA, the African Union, and the Indian Space Research Organization. Let me be clear, she said. The United Nations has no jurisdiction over a SpaceX vessel, a Starlink uplink, or a Boston Dynamics rover operating in Martian dust. The ESA delegate sipped his espresso and smirked. But if they declare autonomy, we'll be blamed for doing nothing. Simonetta didn't respond. She'd already read the internal SpaceX memo. It said, Martian Authority branding to be retained for post-Year 2 scenarios. Legal recognition to follow autonomous operations. It wasn't satire, it was a placeholder government. 3rd Hawthorne, California, SpaceX Legal Division. Jared Burchell, longtime Musk fixer and executive legal strategist, walked past a wall-sized printout of the Martian surface. Each potential city site had a code name. Each launch had a proprietary claim. They're not colonists, he told a junior associate. They're operators. He'd quietly submitted a trademark request for Martian Authority trademark. Services, governance consulting, orbital taxation systems, lunar arbitration. Jurisdiction, Mars. The trademark was real. It had passed U.S. registration. Later that week, he would sign a memo to the Neuralink team. Prepare a proposal for direct brain colony interface by ARC-V, framed as governance resilience enhancement. It would be laughed at until it wasn't. 4th Beijing, China National Space Administration. Behind closed doors, the CNSA was furious. China's Mars initiative, Project Red Dream, had been quietly stalled after a failed lander burned up in 2023. But ARC-V's success had galvanized nationalist fury online. Now, the Politburo Standing Committee wanted answers. Wu Yanhua, former deputy administrator, stood before the Science Ministry with a hard truth. We are not first, but we may still shape second. A proposal was drafted that week, a partnership with the Emirati Space Agency under the pretense of climate adaptation research. The goal was simple: get Chinese boots on Mars before ARC-X. If not, ensure Chinese citizens inside ARC-11. V behind closed doors, the sovereignty loop. By September 2025, NASA had created a closed-loop Mars ethics panel chaired by Dr. James Reuter. The Pentagon had quietly budgeted for low-latency orbital intervention platforms. A U.S. Senator, Marco Rubio, proposed a Mars Governance Oversight Committee. The EU tabled a resolution to define Mars settlers as extrajudicial actors under a planetary commons framework. Elon Musk reposted a meme of George Washington on the Martian surface with the words, "No taxation from a planet I don't live on." 6th, the core problem. No one knew what Mars was. A colony, a territory, a habitat, a prison, a laboratory, and worse, no one knew what the settlers believed it was. Until the first vote, until the first flag, until someone said out loud, "We are Martians now."